The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all. Race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. And we are back. And you are watching us live on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And we've got our sister, Zelda Speaks on the line. And of course, if you join us on Facebook and YouTube, then I'll just mute your mic so we don't get an echo with two audio systems. So whenever you want to tune in, just hit that link. But, you know, I wanted to encourage those who, you know, now that we're going back to school, and schools are thinking about, you know, assemblies and talent shows. We want to come to your places, or if you've got some community organizations, and some organizations are having events where young people are performing. We want to come and give you an opportunity to audition for the global virtual teen talent competition.
And give you an opportunity to audition for the global virtual teen talent competition. And give you an opportunity to audition.
Yes. Now, the thing we want to do is encourage people who may have young people who would like to be a part of something that's going to further their education. And we want to give people a chance to have their child win some of this scholarship money and maybe just even be discovered through the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. we've got some amazing talent all across the nation, and of course, we know we've got some overseas. I mean, we've seen them from Poland, from just all kinds of countries overseas, Nigeria. I mean, we've seen them from all over the world, which is wonderful. But we know that our children here in the States need some kind of encouragement because we are not hearing enough about the wonderful talents that they have. We're hearing too much about the dangerous aspect of teen life. And we want to help transform that image. Young people are beautiful, they're wonderful, they're talented, they're skilled, and we want to share that. But we also want to give some guidelines because, some people don't always know when something is inappropriate. And I'm sure I've told this story uh, about a situation where I had to ask about a situation where I had to ask about. Oh, is that better?
Much better.
Okay. Yes. Ask ask a neighbor to cut off some inappropriate music that they were playing at a child's birthday party. And I know they may have thought I was being picky, but the lyrics were kind of outrageous. But a lot of things that people listen to, they don't have they don't have any sensitivity about it because it's commonly heard. So it's not even registering that this is considered a vulgarity or a curse word or a profanity. They're not conscious of it. And so a lot of our youth, when they create things, and I've got a lot of people who got children who know how to rap and just but they imitate like the gangster rap kind of stuff, and the parents are not always conscious.
Nope.
So what kind of guidelines do you give for people when you tell them you can have your teen apply, or the teens when you address them and tell them they can create something original, or they can even perform a well-known artist's lyrics or whatever the case may be? What guidelines do you give them to make sure that they don't pick something that's totally inappropriate?
Number one, to be respectful of the audience that they are performing for, because we don't know who's watching this show. It could be somebody from America's Got Talent, could be somebody from the White House, could be your grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want granny to see you acting a fool. And when I say respectful comes in many forms, because if you have respect for yourself, beginning with your appearance, you don't come on chewing gum, you don't come on with a radio in the background, and you definitely don't come on half naked.
So do you outline those things?
Absolutely, because they need to know.
You can know this is what it means to be respectful.
Right. You respect yourself.
Don't naked.
Yes.
Don't have the radio on the TV in the background.
Mm-mm.
Don't be cussing and
You don't be eating and chewing gum.
Don't be chewing gum.
Yeah. And texting and talking.
And talking.
Yeah.
These are things you need to do if you want to be taken seriously as a contestant, because like you say, anybody could be watching.
Right. And it was like, oh wow, we really liked her or him, but they had no couth. They had no home training. And it's like just that little bit could keep you from becoming the next higher version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta admit though, a lot of parents are not teaching this to their children because they don't know.
They don't know.
They won't taught. So they're just continuing the behavior that they've learned at home. And you can't blame them, but you can educate them.
Yeah.
Once you're aware of it. Because they got to get it from somewhere.
They got to get it from somewhere. And what's really sad, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of parents who just really don't know.
No, they don't know.
And we can't get angry at them because they don't know, because they weren't taught. And you wonder, well, how does someone get to be in their 40s and 30s and 40s with children who are teenage and they don't know what respect is. But some of them, either left home or had parents who were not engaging them and just assumed that the school is going to handle everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't taught. And a lot of times we are expecting schools to teach some basic principles of behavior. The schools aren't set up for that. You come in, sit down, shut up, memorize whatever little useless information they give you, take a test, go home. They're not teaching you ethics and values and respect and proper speech and how to present yourself. They don't teach you any of that. Now they'll punish you if you don't know how to do it, but they don't
Oh
teach.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not going to tell you that. Oh man.
How many young people do we know that feel angry that they got punished for something? They don't even know what they did. Happens all the time.
And then you haven't explained it to them. You're shouting at the top of your lungs, ready to beat them down. But that they'll remember the beating, and that's trauma that they will carry with them throughout life until they're in their adulthood, until they are seniors, like I am, like we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm old.
And that trauma is with them.
Yes.
All day, every day. You wonder why they act. That like the little boy said in what was his name? The contestant Mark Tiefert in his skit. He talked about therapy.
Yeah, I had to say to my therapist, I was explaining this dream to my therapist, some nightmare he kept having. But a whole lot of children, they need therapy, and I'm glad some of them might be getting it. And you really do have to get a trained therapist, because a lot of times these school counselors, they're not given the time that you need to bond with a person to really be effective. So if you come in like once a month, what is that? Okay, child's big brother got shot to death 2 weeks ago, and they, you just now coming. They've been traumatized all that time, and you come in 3-4 weeks later, and you expect them to talk about it. What about their 4 weeks of trauma that they had before you were there? They were traumatized when it happened. So, if we don't have people on the spot, and you notice when stuff happens at schools, at some of the schools in the most affluent areas, anytime there's a tragedy, next day, folks are there with the counselors, helping them get through it. And we just assume our children just shrug it off and keep going. Oh, well, those people, they always
they're used to it. No, they may be used to it, but they are not used to dealing with the repercussions of the trauma.
Yes, they're still traumatized. And, a lot of times young people want to express it through their creativity. So now how do we help them be able to talk about it without it sounding like the same old gangster rap kind of stuff, where they talking about, the worst things in life? Somebody got shot, or they gonna shoot somebody. I mean, I know a lot of them, they listen to that and maybe it sounds cool or whatever, but is that really helpful? And because I had a student that was listening to some music, and I said, what do you listen to? And I listened, the earphones, and it was like the worst.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know you had this going directly into your brain?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was so distraught just realizing here this little sophomore student listening to all of this garbage. And my first thought was, did your mother know you listen to this? But you know what? Hey, you got earphones.
Mom listening too.
She listening too. She bopping on the way to work. Yeah, getting down with the stupid lyrics. I don't listen to the words. I just listen to the beat. No, your subconscious mind has heard the lyrics. And so when you get into a fight with your coworker, you don't know that was planted in your head from that music you was listening to, you thought was only the lyrics. Mm-hmm. So now how do we go about, because I know a lot of these schools, they have talent shows. And some of these park districts have talent shows. And I would love for us to, go on a recruiting spree for people to present at the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. But also we got to be able to help them present their message in a higher form so that it isn't degrading the culture, so to speak. Because
Yeah.
when hip hop first came out, it was cool. I mean, we had fun, we danced to it, and then it got ugly. And I don't know how that transition happened, but suddenly it was not just like, it wasn't just about having fun at a party. Now it was, shooting somebody and all of this. But it's the same gift, same
Yep.
skill, and I am just amazed at the vocabulary of these young people to be able to put together words, and the ones that know more words than cussing. When they
Right.
really put together words and can say it to a beat and it rhymes, I'm like, they are brilliant.
I know. It's like, where does that come from? Well, we know where it comes from, but
Yeah.
you
How
know,
do we steer it to something that is elevating people's thought as opposed to encouraging them to seek the lowest way of life? How do we help them take that gift and let it be
nurture
a powerful tool of inspiration?
and nurture it
Mm.
because they've got it. And it's our responsibility as the elders of the community to help them develop it. They
Yeah,
can do this on their own.
yeah,
They need our help. And they're depending on us. And they
Yeah.
shouldn't have to ask us.
yeah. We shouldn't expect them to raise themselves. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying, well, your mother did a great job raising you. It's like, I raised myself. My mother wasn't there. I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And how often do we hear that?
Mm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, well, where was she? But I didn't want to pry because it was obviously a painful thing for this person to have revealed.
Right.
But where are we? I mean, do we get either so wrapped up in our jobs and careers that we neglect our children, or are we expecting the school to take up more of a burden than it should? We got the school, and we got the after school, and we got the after school. I mean, we just got all day. Now, some places that's the culture. My daughter, when she was when she was teaching in Korea, she said that was the thing. You went to school in the morning, and you didn't come home until dinner time. That was your day. And in some places, like in high school, after dinner, you went back to school to do some more work. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So that was the lifestyle. I know they work hard. I know they excel, but I don't know if that's emotionally healthy. I don't know, how that's going to look 10, 20 years from now. Is it going to translate into better family relationships, or is it going to translate into more people who need therapy? I don't know. But I think we probably need more time with our families. I think we were more emotionally healthy when we had more family time. What was that? I think it's Baba Kwame says, I think it's the one that said,
Kitchen table university.
yeah, we need more lap time and not laptop time.
Yeah. Yeah. Granny's lap.
Yes.
Granny's lap. But that's kind of hard to do with Granny at the club with you.
Yeah. Or trying to shoot you to get home so she can stay out of the club and
right.
get the same man you was chasing. But I think we know what the problem is with the breakdown of the family, but some kind of way we have to help people without them feeling like they're being attacked for not knowing things or for doing things differently. So I try not to attack young women who feel the need to expose parts of their bodies because they're needing to feel attractive. But yet I want to help them understand that if we're shaping the men to have a different response to us, or at least get to know us in a different way, then we have to present a different picture. And that's kind of hard to explain, because we don't want them to feel like we're shaming them
and judging them.
They
get enough of that.
And that's how come they stop talking. And we got this gap in the generations.
Yep.
Young women won't talk to older women because they feel like they're being judged all the time. So
I learned so much from them. So that's one of my daily challenges, is to be less judgmental of self and others.
Yeah.
We are like that from birth. We grow up in the society and we do what we see others do. We don't do what our parents tell us to do. We do what they do.
Right. Because, I mean, that's how you get accepted, and everybody wants to be.
Everybody wants to be loved and accepted.
Yeah. You know what I'm really looking forward to is your show on Monday. I have been immersed in a lot of people's testimonials on near-death experiences where they died, on an operating table or in an accident or whatever, and they were dead for a while, and they had an amazing experience on the other side of where they saw their deceased relatives, saw various people, saw Jesus, even all kinds of experiences, and they were taught what the meaning of life was.
Mm-hmm.
And they were one of the biggest lessons that so many of them came back saying is do not judge people.
Oh, wow.
That you can do, because you're going to be looking at yourself. You're going to get a life review. You're going to get a video of your life. And it's almost like watching a movie where you can feel each character's feelings, because you literally feel what everybody whose life you touched, how you made them feel when they encountered you. You actually go through it feeling everybody's feelings, which is different when, on this side of things and you're inside your body, all you know is how you think and how you feel. Right. But when you get to the spirit side, you feel everything. And knowing that just changed their lives. They were so much more compassionate, so much less. Sometimes, like in some of these accounts, they were talking about how somebody that they may have hated or resented, they were able to see their lives and see what made that person become that way, angry, bitter, or whatever. And so they had empathy, because they could say, wow, they went through all that. I'm surprised they was as decent as they were, if they, that kind of abuse they went through. So it's just a whole different view of things. And I think if people understood what actually happens when you transition, they would live their lives differently. Live your life as if you are in spirit, and be compassionate toward people, be empathetic toward people. And even if you don't know why somebody's being mean or cruel or whatever they're doing wrong, understand that something happened to them to make them other than their natural self, which is a loving person. We came here as loving people, and then something happened to make us not loving. Either we got beat or cussed out or left out in the cold or whatever happened to us. But the hurt is what we express, and that's what we give to others. So if we can understand that, we could really change what we're putting out, and we could really be conscious of it. Because once you get to the other side, you can't fix it. It's like, okay, well, your story's over with. You guys, it's too bad you messed up on those points, but you can't go back. Your time is up.
Right.
So for those people who were allowed to return, it's really a gift to the rest of us, because we don't have to wait till the end of life to finally figure out what life is all about.
And to see your life flash before your eyes, probably 20, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, I was on 87th and Ashland, I'll never forget it. And I'm coming out of the parking space, and I guess somebody didn't see me coming out, and he hit my car. And at that moment, I went like that. Wow. And I saw my whole life flash like little snippets. So it was little snippets of when I was a child, when I was this, that, and the other, and I was like, wow. So maybe that's what they mean, like in a what do you call it? Not a life. Yeah, well, your life just flashed before you.
Your life flashed before your eyes. Yeah, a lot of people say it happened.
Wow. So I
you see all the stuff. Yeah.
I had an inkling of that, and that's scary.
Yeah.
When you don't know, you've never had that experience before. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's like, ooh,
wow. You almost get to feel, it's the end.
Then you're dazed at the end because somebody, hit you and it just shook you all up. Good thing I was in a big car. It could have been history if I was in a little car. That's why I never wanted to be in a little car.
Yeah.
I remember little Pacers that came out. I love that little car. Remember the Pacers like a little bug? I love that little car.
Yeah. They got good gas mileage, but don't hit no truck.
No, don't hit a bump. Don't go over the railroad track and hit a bump.
Oh, I feel like
that you don't hit a pothole.
Oh,
'Cause you
pain.
might beat the pothole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an experience. And I'm sure our children have all kinds of experiences that we
They
never
do.
even thought of.
They
And
do.
they live this on a daily basis.
They live lives.
Because I see a lot of that when we go to Tent City. I see how when my little brother Douglas Robinson was murdered in 2017, there were all adults out there, and now we go there. There's teenagers, and I had to ask them, like, why are you not at home with your mom? And one of the little girls, like, if you knew what my daddy did to me, you would run home too. And I was like, oh wow. So there's a lot of child abuse, molestation that's going on in homes every day, all day, everywhere. And they have to live with that trauma. And if you don't get therapy,
You just
be able
traumatized.
to talk to somebody, you traumatize, and you carry that every day in your your living.
Yes. And you're trying
Makes
to.
no reason at all. You
Man.
can't concentrate. You're angry,
Yeah.
discombobulated.
When you see young people and they're angry all the time, there's a reason for that. And that's why I really have a problem with people being punished, with young people being punished for being angry. You know, they didn't come into this world angry.
Right.
But what was done to this person to create that kind of rage where you can take a life? You know, I mean, everything ain't about, oh, they just watching too many video games. No. Something inside of you was broken.
Yeah.
You would be able to take a life because you were in so much rage. You can kill. Something is happening. And we have to help them heal the hurt. I was telling my daughter this morning about the upcoming homeschool that we're launching next month, and I'm so excited about that, especially that first class. Well, of course, we're doing the Peace Education class by HWPL, but one class I would really want parents to take as a prerequisite before they do any kind of homeschooling is Peace Education. Is before they do Peace Education, is the class Parenting with Peace, because they need to know how to correct their child without using the painful methods that we all experienced, verbal abuse and physical abuse, because that's the only tools our parents knew.
That's all they knew.
Scarred all of us, and some of us healed in various degrees. All of us are scarred a little bit. It's like if you cut your leg, it's going to heal, and you know, and eventually the little line may fade out, but there'll always be a little bit of hint of it, and you can look under, yeah, this is where I got cut. So it never disappears. And the same thing is with emotional trauma. It never totally disappears. And you can heal where it's almost imperceptible, but there's something there, and something can happen to trigger the memory. And next thing you know, you're reacting in pain because something that you didn't even know, you thought it was healed, but it wasn't. And that's in all of our relationships.
Because you forgot about it.
And you forgot about it. And you didn't know that pain is still there.
Yeah.
It's like somebody punch you in their sore spot on your leg that, you know, okay, maybe 20 years ago I had stitches in that spot and I thought it was, you know, perfect and healed, but yet somebody hit me in that, the pain comes back. Oh,
right back.
You know, there's still a sore spot. So we all have them. But I'm really looking forward to this New Earth Homeschool Academy, where we'll get a chance to give parents some real tools to work with so that they can raise their children differently than the way we were raised, and their children won't have that anger inside of them from being verbally abused and physically abused, and they will have what they need to make the right decisions in life because they're making them for the right reasons.
Right.
So, you know, it's exciting project. I'm really excited about it. But one thing my daughter was saying is that, well, you got to take into account that the world has changed from the time, even when I was growing up. She's like in her 30s now, early 30s, but you know, there was an internet the way it is now. So children today and all the different distractions they have and all the pressures they have and the fears, it wasn't like that when you were growing up. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. So you got to take it into account, the challenges that they have to face, which was a good point.
Yeah.
And
it's nothing like it used to be back in the day. None of that.
Yeah, they don't have the kind of protection that we used to have with other neighbors looking out for us. I mean, now your neighbor's the predator that might be
right.
So well,
You beat at home and then get beat by a neighbor's mom, and then get home and get beat.
Yeah, we had one thing we did do as a community was community beatings, but so there are ways we can still be that community just without the violence.
Yeah.
So we're gonna teach that. Well, anyway, I guess it's time for us to go. We're gonna be looking for you all on Monday Morning Mindfulness, but of course, join us tomorrow.
Women have the power.
Sorry, y'all. Wrong button. So join us, of course, tomorrow. Soul Purpose Healing with Viata, Sunday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. You're on the Female Solution Global Radio
Come to
TV
the
show.
end of our show today, but you can hear every show in archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. 90 seconds. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show.
And how you learn the hip roll?
My website
Right,
at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV
And where do they
show.
go if they know some young people who they think should apply for the Global Teen Talent Contest? What's that website?
HigherLearningNetwork.org. Higher Learning Network.
Higher Learning
And to our global family
Network.
listening from all
You
around the
can
world,
sing,
we say
dance,
thank you.
act, paint,
Illustrate.
draw, juggle,
India,
do flips.
Japan, arigato, Korea,
Arigato.
kamsahamnida,
Kamsahamnida.
Russia, spasiba,
Spasiba.
Germany, okay, Poland, dziękuję,
Dziękuję.
France, merci,
Merci.
gracias, Italy, grazie,
Gracias.
Egypt, shukran,
Shukran.
10 seconds, Nigeria, Eshe,
Eshe.
South Africa, Nyabonga,
Nyabonga.
Senegal, Geret,
Correct.
Kenya, Asante, Israel, Toda, Pakistan, Shukriya,
Shukriya.
Pakistan, Tashakur, Saudi Arabia, Shukran,
Shukran.
Assalam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Al-Barakatuh.
Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
Love, peace.